Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Tom. Tom is from England in the UK. So let's see what Tom has to say. Enjoy the interview.
Hello.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you? Sorry, I decided as the meeting earlier was cancelled, I went to the yoga. So I'm not going to eat until after this. So I'm just having a carrot. I just
So how's your day been so far, Tom?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, I got back from traveling a few weeks, last week. So I was doing a bit of sort of catching up on my journal and doing a bit of writing as well for a deadline for next week.
I see.
A program that I'm wanting to sort of get. No, it was brilliant. Really enjoyed it.
And why South Africa? Why?
I'd always wanted to go, really. It's funny, and not a lot of English people seem to go traveling there. There are a lot of Dutch and German people traveling, but a lot, yeah. I'd always wanted to go. I have a friend who lives over there, so I saw her for a bit, and then I traveled around on my own, which was just awesome. I think, yeah, I've always wanted to go to Africa, really, and South Africa one especially. And then I also have a friend who grew up in Kenya, so I sort of did that as well. Although they're quite far away from each other.
So tell me, where are you from, Tom?
I'm from Hampshire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Born and raised?
I was actually born in London, but I was raised in Hampshire. Yeah.
I see. And what do you do for a living, Tom?
I'm an actor and a writer.
So tell me a little bit about your career, how everything started.
Well, it started a while ago now. I went traveling when I was 18, 19, and then I moved to London when I was 19 and started getting into it, really, and applying for jobs. And I got an agent. I didn't go to drama school. I don't know why I decided not to do that, but I think I came back and I'd been away for a year, so I just wanted. I applied for some drama schools, but I didn't really. My heart wasn't in it. I just wanted to work. So I did short films and fringe theatre, and then got an agent, and then got better auditions, and then got the odd better job. And I'm still doing short films, like good short films, I think, and small parts in bigger stuff. I did a role in Killing Eve. I had an audition today that would be great, but I'm not going to tell you what it was in for. It was for a big TV show. But I don't know if I've got it, so I'm not going to say it yet. And then I started I was writing as well, and I did a play. I wrote a play and produced it when I was 26, and that went really well. And then as a result of that, I started to really push my writing as well. So now I'm equally writer, actor. I audition and do acting jobs, and I'm writing various things, and I've written 2 short films, and I'm pitching various things for TV at the moment. So yeah.
I see. So you write like plays, you write for theater as well. That's what you do.
Yeah, I wrote a play. The first thing I did was a play, but then I wrote 2 short films. And then I wrote a pilot episode for a TV series, along with the whole pitch around it, and then another pilot episode for a different TV series, along with a pitch around that. Then I've recently written another play, which is sort of the same as one of the TV series. It's the same story, but it's a theatre version. And now I've got 2 TV series that I'm touting out and trying to get on various programs and in competitions. And I've got an agent who pitches those things, and I'm about to start writing something else as well that I've got an idea for. So yeah, and that's TV. That'll be TV as well.
Very busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good to be busy. I think when you do something with passion, when you do something with love, you never feel tired. You just want to do it. No stop.
Yeah.
Tom, before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself.
Oh, that's a tricky one. I suppose something that I think is quite interesting is I'm bisexual. Don't know if that's in that vein. And I've just been traveling to Africa. I suppose that's something that's sort of took 6 weeks out to go off an adventure. I don't know, one of those two, or yeah.
Amazing. That's interesting for sure. Amazing. Tom, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey, put your memories in life, and to share your point of views?
Yeah.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend, okay? Full of random fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay? So just before we start the game, during the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
First question for you is, what does success mean to you?
Fulfillment and happiness.
Do you think that, and when you think about success, what's something that's it kind of, okay, that's the true success for me?
I think in my work, I think that's a big part of me to sort of get successful in my work and to be acting and writing and making good money out of it and doing stuff that people are seeing. I once said the other day, like if I was to be interviewed on Graham Norton, I'd be like, I've made it. Like I'm doing stuff that yeah.
There you go. There we go. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, Tom from England. Next question for you is, how would you describe a perfect, healthy relationship?
One where you communicate with each other, where you both are interested and curious in each other. You don't necessarily have to have the same interests and have everything in common, but have a sort of curiosity and enthusiasm about each other and each other's lives and each other's interests, and have a lot of laughs.
A person to go on a date with you or to get your attention somehow, what this person must have and must not have, in your opinion?
I'd like something enigmatic, something a very nice smile that is maybe a bit mischievous and cheeky, and a big laugh. I think those are things that I'll sit forward on a date for. Must not have, well, I mean, really hardcore sort of bigoted views. If someone pipes up with something incredibly racist or homophobic or anti-climate change, I don't believe in climate change, for example, someone saying something like that, I'd be like, okay, bye. Yeah.
Very good. Next one, let's do it. Before the next question, tell me what's the best part of acting? What's the biggest joy of it? And also, the flip side, what's something that you find very challenging?
I think the best thing about it is when you get your teeth into a character and it all fits and it all works and you're bouncing off other actors, whether you're on stage or on set, and you know the lines, you've got the timing, you're bouncing off, you're doing things that surprise you and surprise them and they surprise you. I think being on set and playing a character that's challenging and doing it well is the best thing. The worst thing about it is the unreliability of it. The fact that kind of you have times where you just never work, and it's unpredictable, and it can be demoralizing.
And saying that, when was the moment that realized that, okay, I was born to be an actor? There was a situation, a moment, or you just kind of you gradually realized that?
Yeah, I don't remember. I was a child. I always wanted to be an actor. I auditioned for things as a child, and I wanted to be in every school play. I loved performing. I always wanted to be an actor. So I don't really know the moment.
Did you have support of your family at the time?
Yeah. I think they always knew I was going to do that. Well, I was going to do something theatrical because I think I was quite a theatrical, elaborate child.
I see. Okay. Next question for you is that a dream you always had?
Yeah. Is there
Can
a
you
dream or is that a dream?
No, is that a dream like that you always like aim for it, or something that you always wanted?
Yeah. I always wanted to be an actor. That was always something I wanted to do. Yeah.
Wow. So you are living a dream right now.
Almost. Until I get the TV role.
Next question. Let's do it. Okay, next question is, when was the last time that you laughed so hard that you couldn't stop?
Oh, I can't remember that. I mean, I think there's a time more recently to this, but I was in Scotland with a few friends of mine, staying at their family house, and everyone had drifted off to bed, and I was drinking whiskey with one other person, with my very good friend, and she just started saying something in a certain tone of voice, and I could not stop laughing, and it was actually pretty bad. Like, it was good, it was really funny, but she was just sat there for about 45 minutes, and every time she'd say something, it would make it worse and worse, and I just could not laugh, and I could not breathe, and it was brilliant. But she couldn't really understand what she'd said that was so funny, and I still can't really understand what she'd said that was so funny either, but somehow it got me. I think there's a time more recently than that, but that's the time I can remember because it was epic. It went on for ages.
Your best friends, they live the same place as you, the same city, or different places?
Most of my close friends live in the same city, yeah. I have friends who don't, but I see them less, obviously.
What's the biggest difference between you and your best friends, and the biggest similarity?
Biggest similarity in my closest friends is that probably like we all sort of tend to drink a lot and we're all quite loud. Most of my close friends, not all, but most of my close friends are quite loud and tend to like the pub and we have similar senses of humor. Biggest differences, well, I mean, they're different. I mean, some of my friends are quite introverted. Some of my friends are like me, quite extroverted. Most of my friends are women. That's a difference. That's a big difference.
And why is that? It's just a coincidence?
Yeah, I mean, I have male friends as well, but like a lot of my really close friends are women. I don't know.
I see. Okay. Next one. Let's do it. Right. Next question is, what makes you very sentimental?
Oh, I find family or friend connections, or sort of people who've lost someone, but like if you like reunions, people reuniting after a long time apart, surprise. I remember bursting into tears once when I saw something on the news of a soldier coming home, and his daughter kind of looked up and got so surprised that she was so happy and I just burst into tears. So I think kind of people reuniting, I think I find that quite sentimental.
Do you cry easily?
No, it depends. It depends on the mood I'm in. Yeah, sometimes, but not really. I'll get a little tear in my eye quite easily with films, but I don't really cry in normal life unless I'm really upset.
And when you have like you need to audition for something that's very emotional, that you need to express your emotions, do you find easily?
Yeah, I actually did. I filmed something the other day. It wasn't an audition; it was a film, and yeah, I had to cry at the end of it. It was to do with grief, and I think if the scene is good enough, and the other actor were bouncing off each other well, which is what we were doing, then yeah, I do find that quite easy. But then we had to rearrange, and I had to just sit there and cry without the other actor there. So I had to kind of think of certain things in my head that got me there, but I tend to find it okay.
Very good. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Next question. Right, Tom, before the next question, tell me a little bit about your podcast. I was checking your profile. You host a podcast called Planet and the People.
Yeah, that's a bit dormant now. I haven't come back to it for a while, but it's a podcast about climate change. So it's something very different from what I do in the rest of my life. But it's a podcast about climate change that is exploring the issues and the many different facets of it, and also what can be done and what is being done, rather than you should not do this, you can't do this, you can't do that. It was following a line that's more about like what is being done, what can be done, and more uplifting, while also being while not shying away from the seriousness of it. So I interviewed various different people about different things to do with climate change, climate scientists, and then also food people, fashion people, and found out a lot about it. And yeah, I did it during lockdown. So
and what was the inspiration for it? What was the idea come from?
Well, I got scared of climate change. I got I got a real anxiety around climate change and around what was potentially terrifying about it. And there's a doom and gloom dialogue around climate change that I don't now necessarily agree with, but it did kick me up to sort of read up on all the possibilities that's out there. And I wanted then, and I wasn't to do a podcast anyway, so I thought, oh, maybe do a podcast about climate change and I can explore lots of stuff. And at the time, I didn't know of many podcasts that were about climate change. Now I've discovered loads, which is sort of one of the reasons why I stopped doing it, because I wasn't really making any money out of it. It took a lot of work. And then I listened to some really great climate change podcasts now, that they've got all the backing and then the investment and everything. And I'm like, I think I've done my job. So, yeah.
Okay. Next question is, what is the most memorable lesson you've learned from your parents?
Ooh. I would say kind of like an embrace, sort of not stiff upper lip, but stoicism, which I think in a good way. I don't hide my emotions or kind of button up, but kind of an element of strength. And I think kind of like bravery and feeling the fear of something and doing it anyway, and don't kind of like, I'll climb the mountain, I'll jump off I'll do something that scares me, doing stuff that scares me and taking risks. I think that's something that I got from them in just fun things, but also in life, in career and work, like doing things that aren't easy and that are going to scare me.
You have siblings as well?
Yeah, I have two sisters.
Wow.
Well, I have four, but I have four sisters. Two of them are very young; they're half sisters. But two sisters who are my generation, my age, similar age.
Amazing. Next question. Let's do it. Next question is, what's the best and the worst of being yourself?
Overthinking. I think those are two things that are both best and worst. Like, I think I like the fact that I'm a deep thinker. I think a lot. I analyze. I analyze. I think I like to explore. I'm curious, and that I think is what kind of leads to that helps me in my work as an actor and a writer and in conversation. And I love finding out things. But at the same time, that overthinking, like deep thinking and overanalyzing, can also lead me to anxiety and depression, and it can be difficult and it can be my enemy. So I think most of my best points are also my worst points, but that would be the first thing that comes to my mind.
And when you see the signs of overthinking that it's a negative thing, like for yourself, what's the signs that you kind of feel, okay, it's something that's, I should stop, or I'm getting to that, mindset?
I think maybe like there's a physical sensation sometimes, a little bit of like heart, like anxiety. It's a feeling of like a darkness. Like you just want to, and it's usually related to something else, some sort of other fear that I've got going on about something, uncertainty in the future. So I then start obsessing about aspects of my personality or aspects of the work of myself that I go down that rabbit warren. And I think I recognize it. It's just a feeling that I can get, and it's usually
Let me ask you that because I'm an overthinker as well, and sometimes I find myself in those, this energy. You just feel so drained, like you think too much. At one point, God, my goodness, I need to go out for a beat or go for a walk or something because it can be drained. You just feel like tired of everything. Yeah. 3 questions left for you. Let's do it. Okay. Before the next question, tell me a moment in your career then that you go like, okay, I'm so proud of this situation, of this moment, or something interesting that happened for your career that you go like, okay, I'll never forget these moments. Is there something you could share?
I think when I did my play that I mentioned earlier, I did a play called One of Those. I wrote it, and I got a really good friend, the same friend who made me laugh in hysterics. She and I were in it together, and then we got some other people, and I'd written it. I got a director on board, and we got a producer, and we did it for 3 weeks in central London, and people came out just loving it every night. It was a comedy, and I just, the high of everyone saying that was brilliant every night. I thought like, this is great. And like, oh, I'm good at this as a writer. Like I'd always been working as an actor, and I was like dabbling with writing, and this was like, oh, this is good. And I felt like, oh, I'm above average on this kind of thing. And that was a great moment. I think so. I think I would choose that.
Think that there was a moment in your career that you forgot the lines, you forgot something went wrong, something went funny. Is that ever happened to you?
Oh, loads. Loads where kind of, those are the things where things went wrong. You mean in a funny sense? Yeah. I mean, loads of times, but an example being, that same play, I had a line, but this actually wasn't my mess up, but it was my friend's mess up. Like I had to give away the ending of a book that she's reading, and the book was Harry Potter. And there's a point where, like, as a kind of as a pointer, I tell her Dumbledore dies. I ruin the ending of the book. But then earlier on in the play, she says she's reading Harry Potter and she's reading the 6th one, and I say, oh, that's the one where, and then she's meant to interrupt me and go, no, don't tell me. And she didn't interrupt me. So that's the one where there's a cave and there's all sorts of that. So I had to kind of come up with all this stuff that wasn't the obvious thing that you'd say. And there was another kind of, that was funny. And there was another highlight. I was on set with an actor who was quite well known, who was very well known actually. And I was like acting alongside him. And that was again a high moment. Unfortunately, I got cut from this particular film but I had to tell him that the whole place was going to be blown up, and I fucked up, I messed up, and I messed up the lines, and he sort of laughed, and we had a moment. I was like, oh, we're 2 actors together. I messed up my lines. We have to call cut, but he's really well known, and I'm not, and we're both actors together. That was another high moment and a mistake. So.
Okay. Next question is, as a child, did you have imaginary friends? And if yes, what was their name?
No, I don't think I did have an imaginary friend. I think I was just quite a loner. I used to spend a lot of time on my own. I used to pretend to be a bird at length. And my parents were worried about me, and my teachers were worried about me. And I used to sing on my own in the playground, but I don't think I ever had an imaginary friend, no.
And as a child, who was your biggest idol? Like you went like, okay, I would like to be this person one day. There was someone?
I don't know if it was someone I wanted to be, but this is actually feeding into something I've been writing, because I've based a child on my younger self. But I was obsessed with the sound of music as a child. I think my mother quite liked it, and I called my parents mother and father because of it. They were quite embarrassed. but so I think I can probably say I probably idolized Julie Andrews. Um, I don't. Yeah, I think. And my aunt. I also idolized my aunt at the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. It's funny you mentioned about this movie, The Sound of the Music. I mean, I think growing up, or I always heard this name about this movie, but I never watched it like fully, or I never kind of watched it. And a few Christmas years ago, I was already in London, and I was with some friends for Christmas, and there was a moment, oh, let's choose a movie now to watch it, and people were giving some ideas, and this friend said, oh, let's watch The Sound of the Music. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to. I was like, oh, actually, there's so many movies that we could watch, and for some reason, the majority wanted to watch. I said, okay, let's watch them. Guess what? I was in love in the end with the movie.
Yeah.
I
It's
was
good.
like, oh my God, I want to watch it like every day from now on. It's such a beautiful movie. I was so impressed, and I was so touched by the whole, scene. And I was like, oh my God, it became one of my favorite movies.
That's what I was like as a small child. I think he liked Batman and other things, but I love The Sound of Music. So
A fun fact, you know how we call this Sound of the Music in Portuguese? It's a totally different name. It's like the Rebellious Girls, like the name. Yeah, I know.
really,
Yeah.
not even all girls. There are
I
boys
know.
in there.
It's kind of, yeah. It's more or less like the Rebellious Girls. That's how I always grew up with that name. Like it does.
Right.
Yeah, in other language they translate in a way that fits the movie, like for our language, mother language. So
Okay.
yeah, in Portuguese it's, I don't know in Portugal if that, but in Brazil it's like the Rebellious Girls, something like that.
Right. Wow.
Two questions. Yeah, something
Yeah.
different. Yeah. Two questions left. Let's do it.
Yeah.
For the next one, tell me now, you've got the biggest budget you can pay. Every actor in the world to play now. You are creating a project where you could choose someone to be your mom, someone to play your dad, someone to play your romantic partner, and also the biggest a director to create the whole thing, to direct everyone. So you have the biggest budget. You can pay any actors in the world to do these projects. So tell me, your mom, your dad, your partner, your romantic partner, and the biggest director, who that would be?
Ooh, that's a really hard one. I think my mum would be. To play the character of the mum. I think I would say Emma Thompson would be a great mum figure.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with her. Dad. I mean Emma Thompson's one, but there are also so many others. Who would be our dad? Who would I want to play?
I thought you'd say Emma Thompson as well to play my dad.
No, Emma Thompson would play my dad. Emma Thompson would play my mum. Kate Blanchett was the first one that came to mind, but she's probably a bit young as well. But for a dad, I think Bill Nighy. I think Bill Nighy would be a great father role. For a romantic love interest, I'm going to go with two, but two on different genders. Emilia Clarke, I think she's fantastic. I'd love to be a love interest, or Jonathan Bailey. Either of those two, great, depending on what the story is. For director, I really love Joe Wright. I think he's fantastic. I thought his rendition of Atonement was fantastic. So I think that would make an interesting one.
Amazing, very good. Next question is, where do you want to be 10 years time from now?
I mean, working as an actor and a writer is kind of the obvious sort of thought. I'd like to be further on and like to be successful in that one. But I heard a line in a play once, which actually really touched me. I think I'd like to be in love with someone. I think that would be a really nice. I mean, everyone has career aspirations. Of course, I'd like to be successful as an actor, but I think that's a place I'd like to be.
So do you think
Maybe
the
living in Cape Town.
do you think the love is kind of close to happen? It's somewhere like you can feel it somehow, or there's no
No,
sign yet?
I'm single at the moment, so not necessarily, but you never know.
Can happen anytime.
These things happen very surprisingly and yeah.
That's so true. That's so true. And when you're not expecting, that's when it happens.
Yeah.
Ready for the last one?
Yeah.
Last question. Let's do it. Before the last question, people watching the interview right now, they'd like to become an actor, to be an artist, to go into the business. What would be your best piece of advice?
Go into it. I mean, I would say try and go to drama school, which is something I didn't do. But if you don't want to go through drama school, go and see lots of theatre, get into fringe theatre, go on websites like StarNow, Mandy.com, get into unpaid theatre and short films, because that's the way you break into it. Don't ever think you're going to go and do extra work on big films and transition into becoming an actor, because that's not how it works. So do theatre and short films, prepare to have no money, and prepare to have a really a job that you can kind of have flexible hours.
Very good. Last question for you is, how long can you go without checking your phone?
Oh, it depends. I like to try and go, like if I'm in a good time, if I'm having a good time, I can do several hours. I quite like to actually leave my phone behind. If I'm down in Hampshire with my family and I'll go to the pub and leave my phone behind. And I like that because I can't check it. I wouldn't do that in London because maybe some friends might join us. And so I'd like to keep, and maybe I'll get an Uber or whatever. So I don't know. I tend to check it quite a lot. But I'm wanting to try and get better and not check it and get up in the morning and have a cup of tea and read my book and then check it briefly. But I don't have any notifications on my phone. So I check it when I want to check it. I don't have a buzz that tells me I've got a message. Yeah.
Most of your, like, let's say, work or audition, most of them, they're in London?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, most of my auditions are actually on tape. You usually submit yourself on, you put yourself on tape, so you do it at home. And yeah, I suppose most of them are in London, but also I might get a job that takes me out of London, or to a different country. I've had auditions for things that would require me to go abroad.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Okay.
Money.
Success.
One word for family.
Close.
Close, I'll say. Love.
Friendship.
Life.
Life, did you say?
Life.
Long.
Sex.
Passionate.
Religion.
Atheist.
Politics.
Convoluted.
Like this word, convoluted. Wow. Fear.
Fear. Unknown.
Friendship.
Loneliness.
Desire.
Hunger.
Regret.
Sadness.
One word for success.
Fulfillment.
Wish.
Wish.
Yeah.
Desire.
Okay. Happiness.
Contentment. Same
One
thing.
word for England.
Small. No, I think I can have a bit better than that. Sarcastic.
One word for writer.
Think a thinker.
Okay. The last one now, acting, one word.
Trying to think of the. I know the word I'm thinking, but it's the extrovert. But no, not that word. Actor, meaning show off.
Okay. Let's pretend I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friend, what is the most beautiful thing about Tom, and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on? What your best friend would say?
I think it's a welcoming and easygoing and easy to talk to. Several things, but the same sort of thing. One thing he needs to work on is listening. Sometimes he talks over you, and he probably could do with listening because he gets a bit overexcited.
Good one. Let's play now, Tom and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, Tom, you can ask me a question now.
Oh, what's one interesting thing about you?
Wow, I love the question. I've had already over 800 people on the show, and nobody asked me this question yet.
Ah.
Good, very good. Okay, you put me in the spot now. I like to be in the spot. All right, I'm gonna tell you something that straight away came to my mind. I used to play volleyball professionally as a teenager. I started when I was 12 years old, and I was training every single day, most of my, teenagehood until around 18, when I finished high school and I started living on my own. So I moved city, but volleyball for me was a passion. I was playing every single day, and was something that I'm so grateful when I look back for this period of my life, because I think nowadays I'm very proactive. I love sports. I love being work with people or have people around, and I think everything goes down to volleyball at the time, because you couldn't play alone. You need to play with friends. You need to be a group. You need to be, all work together. And I think that mindset I have right now, I think all connect with my passion at the time, playing volleyball. Yeah, so that's something. Yeah. Did you enjoy the interview, Tom?
Yeah, that was really fun.
Thank you so much for being kind and sweet, and to accept my invitation. Thanks for taking the time as well. Before you go, if you can share a positive message or something that you live by.
Positive message that I live by. I think feel the fear and do it anyway.
Go it and do it.
Yeah.
Go if feeling scared. I love that. Go even if you feel scared, but do it. It's a good sign.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, and you keep in touch.
Right.
Pleasure,
Thank
okay?
you. All right, great. Thank you.
Thanks again, and enjoy your dinner.
All right, thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye,
Bye.
Tom. Take care. Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.